I shot that, and then it just so happened that they asked me to come and join full time. So it wasn't that I was looking for this project, it just so happened very fortuitously that I got this. But in saying that, what interests me about the character, I love, the more I play Jonas Lear, the more I think about him. I love his, initially I thought his motivation for doing what he did about going to find the cure was just love-based, trying to save his wife and all noble and trying to save the human race, and then enlisting the help of his friend Tim Fanning. But the more I think about it, I think there was a lot of ego from Lear, about knowing his place in history. Had he cured all diseases, he must have been aware what the repercussions of that would have been for him. Of course, he would have saved his wife, and that would have been good. But I think his ego probably got in the way, and I think after that happened, he must be playing the what if game. What if I hadn't done that? And so his guilt must be through the roof every day, thinking, do I kill Fanning? Do I stop experimenting on Fanning? Do I stop these experiments? Do I say this is morally illegal, possibly legal? But no, he keeps on with the experiments, and why does he do that? And I find all of that it makes it for an interesting character to play.
What's the biggest difference between working on this show and opposed to like a Lost that you've done before? And what do you see different? One
of the differences, I know where my end point in this character is. With Lost and Emily. No one ever knew.
We still don't.
Hey, just leave the room. But that's good training, when you have to. But there is, that the similarities are that the writing is so good. You trust the writers to guide you and just play the scene. You have your super objective, your objective, and you just play the scene for what it is. So that's really cool. The differences, as I said, source material, and I guess we're still in the realms of fantastical, but I think Noah is more. The passage is more grounded in reality. Project Noah could exist. Things like that could happen. Everything so far, could be real. Whereas I think Lost was a little bit more fantastical.
Have you read the books? And if so, how satisfied are you with the current adaptation that this season has brought us?
Yeah, so I have. I haven't read them all. I read the first one and tapped into the third one. I think it's great. I'm a big fan of the show, and I think what the writers have done very cleverly is they've added the backstory, the flashbacks. So you get more invested in the characters, you get to know a lot more about them, and they've changed certain things. So for example, the genders, the races on a few characters, and my wife is dying of cancer in the book, and Alzheimer's, but I think it's only enriched the present show. I don't think you need to have read the books to watch the show, or I don't think you will take away from your enjoyment if you've read the books and watched the show. You can do both. It is different, very slightly, but at the core, it's the same. This is a huge book, so it would be very difficult to make exactly what's on the page. But I think they do a great job. I'm very excited to see what they do for season 2.
This is on network television, and it is infectious diseases mixed with a little bit of the vampire, perhaps even zombie-esque, a little graphic. Nevertheless, I feel like it's not over gratuitous.
Yeah.
I think it would be the right word.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being the current member on this all-star team for this current lineup? Given that particular, not gore, because it's not gore necessarily, but is it different than from other things that you've done?
On the 100, that was a really bloody show. At any given opportunity, there'd be blood splattering the lens, and that's all actually CGI. This one is it's more in the intent of the camera, to frighten and it works really well with the slow zooms in and the slow movement of the camera and the sort of jump factor, So it's not, you're right, it's not gratuitous, but it is still spooky, but that's what's really cool about the show. That it's got so much. It's action, it's adventure, it's got heart, it's heartbreaking. And yes, the virals are scary when they need to be. For example, in the last episode, 105, Winston was really quite scary. But it's not just, so it's not going to alienate anyone. I feel this is a show for everyone. It's not, because some people just don't like that, but I feel this is very inclusive in the way they do it. They're very clever. I think it's, yeah.
Any interesting fan mail? Oh, sorry.
Anyone to carry on?
Any interesting fan mail?
I haven't got any.
Yeah, while filming, like you guys have like room to improvisation, or you guys had to stick to the actual script?
There's room. I've been on, for example, Lost. There was no room. It was, you said exactly, because it all tied into the next episode. This one, there's room to make it your own, and we have writers on set who you can talk to about certain things. I know Jamie, they've added, you said, what about if I say this? It's great having an executive. When Liz Heldon comes to set, many times she said, say this line instead. Okay, this time they say this line, So, and that's very freeing for an actor. It's, she to have somebody there who sees what's working, what's not, and to change it. I love that.
I love the way the show is bringing vampires kind of back to being scary again. And they use and I love the fact that they incorporate the mind control with the vampires as well. They're kind of messing with the people. Yeah. What is your opinion about how the vampires are portrayed, and what's your favorite vampire portrayal, like in a previous film or book or anything?
The original Nosferatu with the two front teeth. That is for me the scariest ever. Yeah. That was terrifying. But I think crazy. Jamie McShane is kind of, reminds me of that, The teeth are different, but, I think that, Jamie does a great job, the way he switches from Fanning to, patient zero. I've forgotten what was the first part of your question.
What is your favorite portrayal prior to here?
Who was that? Was that Boris Karloff who played the original?
I think it was it predated. Actually, the movie I think was a silent film, and there's also Shadows of the Vampire, which was a film that was spoofing that.
That was the yes. I'm trying to think who played the original Nosferatu.
Because Boris was Frankenstein.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
A real vampire, according to Shadows of the Vampire.
I need to watch that again. So probably that one is probably the scariest.
Yeah.
And then vampires became very sexy. They became cool and beautiful, and because movie stars played them. But I like the way we've done our Winston and Fanning. Brienne's always going to look good, so it's kind of hard. But even, she's scary, but yeah.
I can't ever pronounce the young lady's name correctly.
Sanaya.
Thank you.
Sanaya Sidney.
Thank you.
Amy Bellafonte.
Sanaya. Phenomenal, right?
Brilliant. I just watched 106. She's brilliant.
Oh, it's almost like you were watching a flower bloom before your eyes. I would compare that.
And you'll see, and you really will see, and that's a very good description. You'll see it bloom even more. I mean, it really is going to, I just watched 106, and she gives a great performance. So I'm very excited for people to see. I'm excited to see where she ends up. I think. Yeah. Anyway, I think she's terrific.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we can expect without telling too much for the
next episode, for 106. You learn more about. Winston's on the run. Mm-hmm. So they have to do something about that. You get to know, more about Amy Bellafonte and what she can do, how she's going to be so special in the future, and her relationship with Brad is tested. You get to learn more about Dr. Sykes and her relationship with Babcock, and you get to learn a lot more about Fanning and Leah and Elizabeth. What does Leah do about Elizabeth now that she's potentially going to be a viral? That's a big choice for him, for her, and for Fanning.
Is this going off for questions? Is this going off the script that you've read, or you've already seen the entire season?
No, I've seen 106, but I haven't
Just
seen.
106,
I
okay.
haven't seen the entire season.
How does this all work? Because Fox is delivering some cinematic stuff. I mean,
Yeah, you have
like
to, right.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
How does that? What is your opinion about that?
I think it's great. I think about time. I think Jason Ensler is a real cinephile. He's got a great eye. He's a great director, and he's got he established the look for the show. And yeah, we're now like a cable look, feel. Everything shot in prime lenses, the framing, and I think that's a testament to him, because TV is so fast. You have 8 days to shoot an episode, and if you want to have that look, you're really challenging the crew to get that look. So it's a great testament to him that he pushed for that and stuck with it, and didn't eventually just, shows start off looking great, and then as time you think, oh, we'll just do an over the shoulder, handheld, very little handheld, all composed shots. It's really looks beautiful.
Is there research done as far as like finding stuff on this planet that actually will counter diseases that before have you discovered anything like that?
No, not.
Because we're introduced to the vampire virus, which
Right.
is kind of to cure diseases. Have you guys found personally? Have you discovered anything like that on the?
No, that's a good question. I have not, but Justin Cronin, I was talking to him, and he does trying to make the case that if you, and this is to be taken whatever, but he talks about the thyroid. If you overstimulate it, which is what we've done in our show, is it can help you heal quicker. Now the thyroid, and also when you the stake in the heart, is the gland is somewhere in this area here.
Yeah.
So that's the way you kill the vampires.
Yeah.
So it's not the stake in the heart, but it is that same area, but it's the thyroid gland stimulated, and that's why they can heal quicker. But just to add to your thing, the idea of Project Noah, that's very believable. The idea that there are secret facilities carrying out illegal experiments, or I'm sure that is happening somewhere in the world right now.
Growing up, were you ever into spy thriller? I feel like this show encompasses a couple of different genres. You think about maybe not necessarily secret societies, but secret government agencies. No such agencies, for example.
Yeah.
Growing up, were you a fan of that type of subject matter? And
Yes.
Did you see yourself working in this kind of this kind of field?
No, I think the journalists and busters open. No, I would never. No, I don't see myself ever working in that field. No, absolutely not. But I do think that it happens. I mean, it has happened in our history. We've already had evidence that the government has tested soldiers with drugs unknowingly, and there may be a case for that some of the diseases in the world today are as a result of experiments that have gone wrong, and so that is very believable. I think that will always happen. I think there's always going to be somebody testing something on somebody. I mean, who's to say we're not being tested right now with things in our food, or you could be anything in the water.
Yeah.
You do that. There's fluoride. Countries have, they put fluoride in the water, and you go, well, that's just the law. We're going to have fluoride in the water. That's the test, right? And then something said, anyway.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Can you describe a regular day for you? Given the season is still ongoing, do you have to stay local in case you got to go in there for ADR? Do you got to keep?
I live in Hawaii.
What about your look? You got to keep it in case there's a reshoot.
No, definitely not. I will grow. Well, it depends what happens in season 2. It could all change.
Because there is a season 2, right?
I just said so.
Let me get on Twitter.
Just say there is going to be a season 2.
Fantastic.
Right?
Absolutely.
We're gonna have a lot of answers, like a lot of questions and no answers for this first one, right? So I hope you can get a second season.
I'm very confident.
I know you're not confirming, but we wish that we could
I want season 2. Hey, no one's told me anything. This is just me. Me. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I think we're going to get season 2. That's Ian Cusick, nobody else.
We're just gonna post that there is a season 2. It's the year of fake news.
Fake news. No, we're getting a season. No, I don't know, but I think we're going to get a season
I wish.
The poor kid from Coco was at a carpet during the summer, and he says, "Oh yeah, if they have a second one, I'm down for it." And everybody posted, "Hopeful for sequel. He's already on board." Blah
Right,
blah
yeah,
blah.
exactly.
We're not gonna do that for you though.
Thank you.
So
But
stuff
he
that.
might, though.
He might.
Oh. Well, it's all good fun, guys. There's nothing confirmed. Okay. So what freaks me out, right? Blood and pulling of teeth. How do you act through that? Is that
Oh.
CG or is that practical?
No, that's just that's just that. And I don't do that. That's the virals. Although I did watch Jamie pull his tooth out. Yeah, that's fairly standard. I mean, it's nothing. That's practical.
Practical
Just
effects.
having a tooth in your mouth, spit it out, and a little bit of blood.
Would you say the show's 100% practical effects?
I would say 90%.
Okay.
Wow.
That's good.
Practical.
That's why it's more impactful. Us fans, we prefer, a lot of us prefer practical.
Yeah, I would say the majority of it is practical.
Do you prefer practical or CG?
It's easier to work with practical. It's
Yeah.
easier to respond to something that's there.
So definitely Fox is dropping a pretty coin.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's my understanding that practical, at least to make them look as good as they do, is slightly more expensive. So, but
There is CGI in the show because I know they have a CGI budget. I just, when it comes to finances, I have no idea. I don't know what's what.
fair enough. Locations.
It looks good, right?
It does,
So
fantastic.
that's all I care about.
So locations, anything on your wish list that maybe you could,
Hawaii, of course, I wanted to shoot in Hawaii.
Right.
But that's not going to happen.
Maybe you just go back to the jungle and you happen to do it there.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be cool. Although I don't think our storyline is not about jungle. It's more about I think it's we've already had that the look that for season 1, season 2. I think is going to be very different
So
if we get a season.
right. So any metropolitan areas that you would like to visit?
Throughout my career, I've really enjoyed the locations I've shot that have forced me to go. Like we shot in Atlanta. I've never been to the South before. I love that city. I think it's one of my favorite cities. I think it's a really progressive, open-minded, forward-thinking. I really like the people there, and I really like the feel of that city. So I would never have gone otherwise. So wherever they shoot, I'm sure I'll find something good about it.
Aside from the passage, do you have any new projects coming
Yeah,
up?
I've got a movie coming out on video on demand called Chimera. It comes out March 15th. And again, I play a scientist. It's with the same sort of godlike issues. It's really very good, I think. It's the first time director, Maurice Himes, and it's got Kathleen Quinlan in it. And we shot it in Boston, low budget India. But yeah, it looks great. It's a cool film. Check it out.
I will.
Chimera, right?
Chimera. Chimera Strain. Sorry. Yeah, Chimera Strain.
It seems like you're staying on course with the with the genre.
Yeah, I don't know how this is happening, but I'm playing recently I've been playing a lot of scientists, who try and save something. Yeah. But hey, it's been fun. I've had a really good time doing it.
It'd be funny if like 2 years from now we see you like in a comedy like doing a telenovela spoof or something like that.
I would love, I would love to do a telenovela. I seriously would. So anybody out there wants to offer me a job in Mexico doing I'm up for it. Totally.
Televisa, TV Azteca, yo, give them a call.
Yeah.
Or maybe in Brazil for Global.
Yeah, for global. Yeah, you never know.
Since you said you lived in Hawaii and there may be a second season, we would love a set visit. Just saying.
But we don't. Yeah.
And if they go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But would you say your character is one of the most logical in the show? Because a lot of people are working on emotional. Some are just straight up like not really, like for the little girl, for instance, they're not really thinking of, abusing this kid or anything. Would you say your character is one of the most grounded and most logical in the show?
I think every character is trying to do what they believe is right.
Yeah.
From Brad, trying to just, he has a mission now to protect Amy. Lacey has a mission to protect, but that's more sort of woo-woo, right? That's a little bit kind of from God. Lila just wants to protect Brad. And then other characters have decisions to make, like Clark, Sykes, me. We you all have to think, what are we going to do next? You know, but yeah, we're all just doing what we think is right. You know.
What's the number one question you get asked during the press tour? Well, you know,
probably, is Leo a good man? Yeah, is he a good or bad man? And of course, we know that he's, you know, like everyone, he does what he thinks is right. And
correct.
Unfortunately, you know, it's be interesting to see how does history, you know, say okay, the world does end. How would history, or not end, but say this, how would history judge Leo? You know, no, I think he would come. How would history judge all the people involved in the show? I think Leo would probably come off worst. Yeah, I think he would be like, yeah, Leo and Fanny would come off worst.
Okay, last question, please.
Oh, well, to that point, it seems like history is written by the victors.
Right. Yeah. So Fanning will probably come off best if the virals win.
Right.
Great Fanning or the great Babcock.
The savior.
Yeah. But I think whatever happens, Leo's going to come out badly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you
Okay,
for your
thank you
time.
so much.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
pleasure.
see